Yo, no lie, I just recorded this and forgot to press the damn record button for my audio. Anyways, get your number 2, close it, go over the head real nice, go against the grain, go everywhere. Make sure it's nice and clean. Get it all to a number 2, all right? Here's a couple different angles of me, just making sure the head is all down to the same length. You want to make sure that you have a good foundation if you're going to start your blend. So go over the hair a couple times if you need. And here we go. I grab my trimmers and I'm making my first guideline, all right? I'm coming just above the ear. Now I'm folding the ear down and I'm just going above it. This way the blend connects, and I'm bringing it down toward the back of the neck. Probably a little higher than I would actually do my 0 for the blowout. So, this gives you a couple different views so you guys can see real good what I'm talking about. And I'm continuing the guideline on the other side. So I make sure I go against the grain, and I make sure all the hair is cut down, nice and even, and I'm not missing any spots. And you don't have to be 100% perfect with this guideline because it's all going to be blended out anyways. Now here I grab my electric shaver and I'm going downwards, and that'll take the hair down just a touch. And then when I go against the grain, it's going to knock all the hair down to nothing. So this machine here is a must if you're going to bald any part of the blend. Okay, now I'm grabbing my regular clippers. I got an open blade here, which means it's just open all the way. This way you can cut the hair to the longest setting. And I'm continuing all the way around the head, probably about 3/4 of an inch up. I grab my one guard, all right? I'm gonna have this bad boy open. I'm gonna come up probably around another 3/4 of an inch. It's really up to you guys if you wanna go higher or lower with it. It depends how you guys blend, So when I have this guard, I go open, I blend, and then I go midway, and I blend down a little bit, and then I go close. And then I blend down just a touch more. It's going to leave a little bit of a line. We'll get that later. Grab your 3/16 guard. This is the blending guard. This is you're going to need. You're going to need this. This doesn't really come with all the clippers, but it's a must. You have to make sure that one blends into the number 2. So I'm starting with it open, and then I'm closing it halfway, and then I close it fully. And once I'm done with this guard, you should notice that the 1.5 into the 2 is fully blended away, and you should have just a little small line over your half blade. So you grab your 1/16, close it halfway, and this just by itself should pretty much, 99% knock that last line out of there. And then all your work is going to be the most important part, which is from just under your 1 all the way into the bald. So earlier I told you that I use, when I use guards, I go open, mid, and then close. But when I'm using just the bare clippers, I tend to barely move that the lever. So I move it just a little bit each time. I probably do like 5 or 6 different adjustments, when I'm actually blending, because that's the finest part of the blend, and if you don't move that around and blend a lot, it's not going to come out good. So I'm going over it and making sure everything comes out nice and everything comes out smooth before I even go on to the next part. This way, basically it's just a good process to go by. So now it's fully closed, and I'm trying to get that last little line out of there. And the best thing to do is, if you're going to make a guideline, don't have your trimmers set to, as if you're doing a shape up. You don't need them to go crazy bald. You need them to do just, even factory. If you have one pair for factory and one pair set up real sharp, you could use them both, and you'll have no problem blending in to your trimmers and then blending into your electric shaver, because that's 2 different things. So I do my shape up, see if there's any problem areas, go over them. Now here's the other side. Now I changed my lighting midway because I was getting too many shadows, and this lighting came out freaking perfect. You could probably see it a little better. I'm continuing the same process. I grab my 1.5, I blend up about another 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to close it halfway. And then I'm coming down just a little bit more, and I'm trying to knock that at least most of the part, that guideline that you see there, I'm trying to knock that out. Again, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to get it out with the 1/16, but you're going to come pretty close. So as you can see, it's getting there. And now I grab my 3/16, the blending guard, open it up, Same process as you've seen on the other side. Sheesh, I need a cough drop. So now you see that top line is getting blended away. It's almost there. You just got to keep closing and and adjusting this clippers. And I'm left-handed, so I'm not as fast as everyone else because I have to adjust the clipper a little different. I can't just use my thumb. I have to use my pointer and my thumb. So, but as you can see from this point of view, the line's coming out pretty nice. I mean, the blend is starting to come together. It's looking pretty smooth. And what I can say is, as you're blending, the steps that I give you, I would probably, if you're new to this, focus more on getting the steps done than making the blend look perfect as you're doing it. Because, as you get to the next step, some lines that you think you should work hard on earlier, they actually blend away easier if you just keep going. So that'd be one tip that I would tell people. Just, get all the blend fully done, go through all the steps. At the end, then you touch it up because it's going to be easier for you. So now I got my, I just went over it with the 1/16 halfway, blended that line out pretty much. And now I'm on the important part of the blend, the lowest part. Each time that I stop cutting is when I'm adjusting the clipper close a little more. As you can see, I mean, it's coming together. It's coming together pretty good. I mean, it looks decent, at least from what I see. But no matter what, you'll see I still go over any kind of problem areas. Now here, you'll notice I almost made an extra little line as I'm blending where the shape up area is. It kind of gets dark real quick. And I just did that randomly as I'm blending, You're going to run into probably some mistakes that are worse than that, especially if you're new. I've done some crazy crap in my time, and I'm like, wow, I got to fix that. But here, you could tell it's not perfect now near the front. So I'm just going to get another guard and do what I got to do. And again, if you follow these steps properly, you should know which guard to pull out whenever you're going to check your blend, because they're all meant for a certain area. So, I pull out my one guard, touch away at it a little bit, and as you can see, it looks a little better. And then, to get it perfect, I grab my 1/16, I go over it again. This is good for everywhere. If you're on the back of the head, you're going to do the same thing. If you're, if it's a blowout, you grab whatever guard you need according to what you used. So here, go over it real quick with my trimmer, and that'll let me, see a little better where my problem areas are. And then I grab the proper guard that I need for that area. As you can see, there's a little bit of a line in there, and start hacking away at it. Do it lightly, adjust, in small increments during this part of the blend. I do what I need here. I don't go, open, mid, close. I do, a quarter of the way if I have to. So this is my friend Chris. He's a good dude. He gets a lot of requests to be in these videos. I don't know why, man. He must have something, I don't know. But he never had the best shape up. Again, you're not going to have the best shape up. You just try to make the best of it, bringing the line straight across, at least as straight across as you can. So here I'm just reverse blending the beard into the actual bald area, so you don't have a straight square line coming down, because that looks a little too, But I'm lightly going over the beard, and I'm coming back and I'm cleaning up the hairs that I touched. So depending on the length of the beard, you don't want to just hack into it. If it's real long hair, obviously the person's trying to grow it out, I would recommend moving it out of the way with your hand or your comb and, shaping up under that actual area. So here I'm just continuing the same process on the other side. This part of the video I'll go through quick, because, the actual part I want you to learn was about the bald fade, and that's pretty much over. So I'm just lightly touching up his beard. He wants it nice and thick, so I lightly go over all the areas and make sure everything stays pretty high, and I don't make my own lines. I go with what's pretty natural, So here I'm doing the curve. I'm using different parts of my trimmer blade as needed. Here I'm using just the edge. That's probably the best way that I feel at the time is needed. So very quickly, I just go over his shape up with, right now I'm just dry shaving. Normally I use product. I didn't want to get my hands dirty when I'm touching my camera, so I don't have a camera guy. I don't want to dirty it up. But as you can see, I'm going against the grain as much as possible. you do what you feel is comfortable to you and still gets the job done. So here I can go against the grain, but later on you'll see, because of the angle I'm on with me recording, I'm using the opposite side of my razor and I'm going with the grain. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'll let you get a little bit of a better view of what's going on. I'm pulling the skin with my right thumb, and then I'm lightly, I'm doing a few hairs at a time because it is a dry shave. So if you ever do that on somebody, don't go in there with the full blade. That's probably a little too much. But if you do a couple hairs at a time, using like a 1/4 inch of the end of the actual blade, it takes it a little easier on the client. They'll come away, a little less irritated. So, this is pretty much all he got. So hopefully you guys learned something from it. And I thank you guys for watching. I see you guys, my views have been going up lately, and I appreciate all of it. So hopefully you guys learned something and you guys like it. Maybe you guys comment. If you got any questions, hit me up. I'm always available to answer questions. So till next time, peace out, guys.